2015 AML Conference Mormon Poetry Slam. This is the very first event, live event of its kind. I've run an online Mormon Poetry Slam before. Go home, Google it. You'll probably find me. I'm the only guy out there doing that. So, welcome to this. Yes, thank you very much. I'm Tyler Chadwick. I will be your MC for this event. How many of you know what a Poetry Slam is? Some of you might, some of you might not. A little different than just the academic reading. Poets aren't just going to get up here and read it. There will also be judges. The Poetry Slam is a competition invented in the 1980s by a construction worker named Mark Smith, in which performed poetry is judged by 5 members of the audience. This time we will only have 4 judges, so take that as you will. Poets have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to present their original work. If they go over the 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we will hook them from the stage or otherwise put them to silence. Take that however you will. The judges will then score the piece anywhere from 0 to 10. 0 being, that was crap, 10 being, man, that was awesome, I was floored. Evaluating such qualities as performance, content, and originality. So those are the things you're looking for, judges. Performance, content, and originality. The high and low, well, we won't do that. Points are deducted. Well, no points will be deducted. Again, you'll just be yanked from the stage. Have fun with it. Don't stress, Darlene. It will be great fun. Now, we beseech the judges to remain unswayed by the audience. Audience, do your best to sway the judges. And score each poet by the same set of criteria. So all of you should be thinking exactly along the same wavelength. Yeah, right. Ignoring whatever boisterous reaction your judgment elicits. Audience, let the judges know how you feel about the job they're doing, but be respectful in your exuberance. No profanity or anything like that. There could be no show without them, so now let me introduce you to your judges. This is R.A. Christmas, distinguished poet, written many, many, many poems. And, see where my other judges? I didn't get your name.
Matthias Westwood.
Matthias Westwood. He's
librarian.
He's a librarian. That's great. So he knows books. And we have Melissa Young, who writes for, I always say it's Segula. Apparently I've been saying it wrong. Right. Segula. However you want to say it. Dennis Clark, the back, long distinguished member of the Mormon letters community. So those are our 4 judges. Now, without further ado, we will get to the excitement of the first live Poetry Slam. We will start off with, by a completely random person who responded to my email first, actually. Steve Peck will be going first.
This is my first slam, so I'm really excited.
Are you floored or slammed?
I'm slammed. Okay, a little context. This is from a poem cycle about a soldier that's following Alexander around Greek. So, can I say stuff like that or just snap?
Okay, yes. And when I snap, that's when your 2 minutes, 30 seconds start. Okay? Go.
I look at you on the stony ground amid tufts of patchy grass that playfully worship the god of wind like children dancing to Apollo or in honor of a king. Your hand rests beside you, curled as if formed in a cup, waiting for some offering of wine or perhaps a coin. Persian spear has pierced your soft eye, opening a slit wide and deep. The point of the blade must have been dulled when it finally reached the back of your helm, emptying your skull forever of thoughts. I did not know you well, a little. I remember once when we were both wine-addled, raging in the heat of lust and roaring through the streets, singing loud and manly that our names would live forever. Aye, that was the dream, that like Achilles, our names would live forever. We said it again as we rode together against the cold Aegean wind, side by side, feeling the hard beat of the leather drum deep in our bones. Our names would live forever. But here is the last truth. I cannot remember your name. You are there on the ground, tossed hard by fate, and your enemy's spear, I know your wounded face, but that name by which your mother called you to die, and by which your father commanded you to mind well the sword and spear and its dance, has fled me as if you were a stranger. Our names were to be remembered forever, commemorated for deeds worthy of songs. Epic poems were to be spoken of arete at games and sacrifices, but the wind stirs me to wander on and collect with the other survivors, to the place where we're gathered to march in another fight, and on in an endless cycle of battles played out in a theater and acted for the amusement of the gods. As I walk away, I try once more to remember your name, but it is gone, and I will try no more. Your bones will dry here, unmarked, unmourned, forsaken.
Good. 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Good benchmark, right? So that was Steve Peck. Give him another round of applause. Finger claps would also be appropriate. If this were a true slam, it would all be finger claps. Next up, Marianne Hales Harding. You're good.
The luxury of breathing. Tipped back again too far, the familiar panic of body craving air, blood rushing, stars littering the peripheral vision, pushing out as a new one emerges, crashing frantically against the tender film of the eyes, searching for the exit, lungs gasping in desperation and regret, crashing made fruitless by the force of the water, the brain pressing against the skull, tectonic plates shifting, primed to confess any crimes, to reveal any secret. I'm guilty, I admit I am guilty. A million mistakes led to this moment, where nothing can expunge the water, nothing can pull back the tongue, nothing can restore the tiny burst capillaries around the eyes. Air may replace water, but the mind keeps drowning. The stars keep swirling. When ragged breath returns, it takes tentative steps, ashamed of its failure, and ready to retreat again.
That was under a minute, so we're good there too. All right, next up we have Jessica Dixon.
Woo! Nervous, you guys are scary.
Tough crowd, tough crowd.
There are mornings when daylight and to-do lists play tug-of-war with my dreams. My internal clock rings as it's time to get up, but in my subconscious reality, there's still hope for us. So I inhale your image like it never left my eyelids and relax my limbs into the sheets that cradle our friendship. In sleep, your embrace still holds up the air in my lungs, my head still swarms with constructions of our future fates, my heart still can't fathom days where it's broken. Memories are stuck in bittersweet replay, echoing days where flirting was as simple as origami. Like when you throw a paper airplane my way, filled with pink confetti. Tiny pieces rain on the floor, leaving trails of playful tease. Your eyes smile in front of years of pent-up fond feelings, and every nerve in my body urges you to take that leap. With my romantically brainwashed amygdala manipulating the story you do. Our lives move forward with swift imagination, building days where being together is comfortably accepted. Your loyalty at my side is not to be questioned. Our friendship is a lovely act we could play forever. The daylight wins somewhere between this is too good to be true. Pinch me. With every blinking stretch in reality, I remember we're not talking. We've been reduced to nothing, a memory at best. In sleep, I can afford to live in the past, but the rigid grasp you have on my reason is haunting. My mind whirlpools with thoughts of your mom wants us to be us more than you do. Our friends want us to be us more than you do. I want us to be us more than you do. And until I can dream something new, it's like the frustration is fresh. So today I pull my cheap cotton sheet over my head as the final white flag. I make it a policy to never give up on dreams, but I'm putting this one to bed. And you see, there's the problem.
Thank you, Jessica. Next up, we have Shawn Bailey from the back. wearing a soccer jersey.
That's right.
He's here to throw down.
Hi, everybody. This is called the Virginian. Who doesn't shudder holding a pound of butter, the one with the Indian on the cover, holding another pound of butter, identical, only smaller, depicting another Indian, holding yet another pound of butter. An infinite regression of Indians the size of G.I. Joes and grasshoppers and microbes, hawking quantities of butter suitable only for pieces of crisp wheat toast you can smell and you can taste, but that are invisible to the human eye. I was a college boy. The worst thing about being an English major is the poetry, having to read it, and offer criticism at a ratio of 3 compliments for every suggestion. This woman called Angie got up and read a poem called The Virginian, a grainy tableau starring her biker boyfriend Don, his greasy ponytail, and their weekend in Jackson Hole. The Virginian is a motel. Angie and Don didn't do much skiing that weekend, or hiking the Tetons, or rafting the Snake. I still remember her description of the bed frame, and the curtains, coarse polyester, off-white with carrot orange medallions, heavy with the cigarette smoke and dander of a million tourists. And the contortionism, so many positions. The spring-loaded hinge, she called it, the inverted cat burglar, the praying mantis. It was like walking in on my parents, if my parents were middle-aged black leather bikers called Angie and Dawn. And the door getting jammed shut behind me. I said I liked the title and the bed frame, and especially the curtains. I said the rest was somehow too specific. I pulled into Jackson this morning, a decade later and more. There is the Virginian, and here I am, captive again. So I'm writing this down, because someday you might go to Jackson. You can't miss the Virginian. You will remember the Angie and Don heavy metal Kama Sutra. The door behind you will not budge, and you will tell someone who will tell someone who will tell someone else. Maybe you will even write a poem about it, giving birth to an endless regression of squirming, involuntary voyeurs. Each of us more or less identical, only smaller.
Thank you, Shawn. That was great. Next up, Bonnie Shiffler-Olsen.
I'm going to be performing Universal Turnings, an elegy for Argo Nagus, written on the advent of my 6th last name. Today, I'm an ember of yesteryear's burn. Or perhaps there is never enough oxygen in a room. Stars are an assumption, waiting on time we don't have, to spend waiting around for outcomes. Maybe the edge of the universe is rushing toward us. Maybe this is speculation. Like the great-great-grandfather, no one is certain, disappeared into the Yukon. Like the 6 children to be left somewhere in between Idaho and Arkansas. Like the 6 names you learn to identify yourself, like the dizzying line of a fly trying to escape into the flecked night sky through the window pane. This map is a renaming too, a shifting star chart, like an eraser chasing lead through a dot-to-dot landscape, like the pictures our children give us to wallpaper the refrigerator, then reupholster the landfill, then mulch the ground where we will lie, and they will lie. Until the story of connection is a picture of bone meal, and ash, and dust, and unlikely star.
Thank you, Bonnie. Next up is the reluctant participant, Darlene Young. Don't worry, Laura's next. So.
The guys I didn't marry. The guys I didn't marry have hairy backs and need to lose a few pounds. They never vacuum their cars. They have peanut allergies. The guys I didn't marry look pretty good for their age. They dream about flying or about eating meatballs. Every 7 years or so, they dream of me. The guys I didn't marry have become DJs and live in their parents' garages. They forget to take their meds. Regularly, they stub their toes on the porch step. The guys I didn't marry run a marathon every year. They skinny dip at Lake Powell with their lovers. At least 6 times in the past 2 years, they've experienced moments of unbearable happiness. The guys I didn't marry think they're lucky stars they didn't marry me. Most of them think they broke my heart, or that they never really loved me after all, and were just caught up in the moment. Some of them married the next girl they kissed. The guys I didn't marry have a hard time throwing away their ratty underwear. They ignore current events. They wait in line. Some of the guys I didn't marry wept at the end of The Lord of the Rings. At night, they stare at the ceiling. Most of them can't understand their fathers-in-law. The guys I didn't marry pull out moldy drywall after they discover the slow leak. They whistle while they work, mostly Oingo Boingo, but sometimes Phil Collins. They do the cooking, but they don't wash the pans. They take their wives on cruises, they fly kites with their daughters, and their golden retrievers run in the sun and bark with joy. All of them have low back pain.
Thank you, Darlene. The reluctance and the anxiety. Laura.
All right. This one is called Ode to My Comfortable Pants. You're not much to look at, you comfortable pants. Tired and worn, twisted and torn. I sometimes don't even bother to fold you. Not like those department store jeans. Those are a sight to behold. In all their dark wash, snazzy seams, shiny button, patented control, stitch front, hip-hiding, glute-lifting glory. Weaved into that sweetly stretching fabric is the antidote to every wobbly, weak, wistful, well-intentioned impulse, the opiate of my cellulite thighs. They promise to get me going in the morning, to get me through my day. They are the cover of my dimpled, stretchy shame, the trademark mask of fashionable women. With stilettos instead of bootstraps and the mythos of modernity edging out maternity, the primrose path is paved with denim. You, my comfortable pants, you have no illusions for me or for yourself. There's no squeezing or squishing, no pinching or standing just so. Like an oversized chair tucked in a library corner, you are perfectly suited for one thing and one thing only. To cushion, to hold, to embrace, to accept. You, my comfortable pants, are love.
Thank you, Laura. I forgot to mention that Laura is a reigning online Mormon Poetry Slam champion. So she's sort of upholding some kind of
Something.
Something.
Only when I read other people's stuff.
She's defending the crown. If our competition mattered anywhere, I guess. Next up, Emily Adams.
This poem is called There Is No Death with This Blood. There is no death with this blood. No, this blood is only a testament of the life that didn't start. I should not be mourning the loss of a barely imagined, only hoped for her. It's only that there were moments I thought I sensed someone there, when I envisioned the stubs of fingers forming on a blooming hand, new eyes starting to stretch still sealed lids, though I know it would have been far too early for more than a sanguine division of cells. This blood is mine, not hers. And it has been coating my womb, not pulsing in my veins. It's been still and cooling for nearly a month. There was no violence, no struggle, no sudden cessation of movement. There is no death with this blood, but she's gone all the same.
All right, our last performer for the first round is Kevin Klein.
This is a short poem, just to give a little context, and you can go ahead and start it because it's short. My wife and I many years ago met a woman who was a single mom with 4 kids, and got to know the kids through the Big Brother Big Sister program, got to love them, and really got to admire this woman for all she did with what she had. And so this poem is a celebration of one of the family's favorite coping strategies. It's called Allergies for Janet. On Mother's Day, it snows in our backyard, the kind that grows on cottonwoods. It makes my nose itch inside the nostrils, pinch half closed at the bridge, yet still drip. And as it blows into the grass, the cotton that is, I see your clothes and the cat hair stuck in them. All those rabbits, ducks, dogs, and cats, which I suppose you never thought about wanting, but chose for your kids' sake. The way a tree knows its seeds will fall, and makes pillows for their landing, when the wind throws them out of reach by all but your branches' shadows. Thank you.
All right, that's the end of our first round. Give all the poets a round of applause.